Morning folks, Kevin here. Well, it's June 21st, 2018, and I'm out in the central garden. And today it occurred to me that I had a bit of a problem. So in the central garden here, it's almost completely covered by the permanent raised beds and the paths are almost completely covered by the DeWitt weed mat that we use, and so far that's been working out great. Tim had made a comment recently concerned about the heat, and recently we had a heat index of 110 degrees. I think it was 92 degrees Fahrenheit, and I wanted to come out, and I completely misplaced my infrared thermometer. So I'll take some shots in the future of heat off the weed mats and the temperature of the soil beneath it. And the plants are doing just great with these weed mats, even when we have this scorching sun. But the last couple days it's been relatively cool. It's just getting up to 78 degrees Fahrenheit today. But today's topic is in reference to comments that I've had in the past about and I think Lisa had recently made a comment about this, cats in the garden. Yeah, and cats opting to use your permanent raised beds or your raised garden beds as a litter box. And that's a hassle because, you do all this work and then the cats get in there and mess things up, and you're worried about, potential toxoplasma or whatever and all. And I've covered that topic in other videos with composting cat litter. But today's, I thought I'd address this since I had one of the cats start to use the carrot bed here on the very end of the central garden bed. So yesterday I went ahead, I came over getting ready to use the Jang seeder to put in some purple carrots over here. And I discovered that one of the cats had used the freshly prepared soil as a litter box. So what I did was I fixed the bed, seeded it, and then I went ahead and put the drip irrigation system down there as well. And when I put carrots in order to enhance seed germination, to increase the proportion of seeds that actually germinate and we successfully develop carrots with, I keep it moist. I come over it like twice a day, and I've got a hose over to the side there that you may be able to see that I come down. It's got a nice shower head nozzle on it, and I just moisten down the surface of the soil. Now these seeds haven't germinated, and that hose is exposed to the sun, so it can be very warm water. I try to run some of the water out first if it's real hot, but if it's warm, I put it right on top of where the carrots are seeded. But what did I discover last year, which worked really well? And this all stemmed from a video I saw from Curtis Stone, the urban farmer. A year or two ago, he went to New Zealand and visited Roebuck Farm. Jody Roebuck has a beautiful farm in New Zealand and has been propagating crops for seed production, and now it has a market garden as well. But the thing that I was really impressed with, he was using shade cloth to enhance seed germination, to decrease evaporation from the surface of the soil after he freshly seeds it. It also decreases the amount of soil that's going to get eroded by wind or rain. And I thought, wow, that's fascinating. And I thought, geez, this could also be a treatment for preventing cats from getting in and disturbing the soil as well. So a year ago, either the last year or the year before, I started using, not shade cloth, but it's a type of netting that's used for making soccer nets. And this is material we have left over from our wildlife rehabilitation days. And we use this netting fabric. I cut it and lay it over the rows where the seeds are going to germinate for the carrots. It decreases evaporation, decreases erosion, increases the soil surface moisture level, and it also keeps the cats out of the garden. So I thought I'd just give a couple other examples of things you can do to try and keep the cats from using your garden beds as a litter box to deposit their materials. Well, one thing you can do is, certainly I always believe in having another option for them. So creating a sandbox, creating something that's nice for them. If you want to use a rototiller, you can keep rototilling a spot up next to where your garden is and let them go there. Certainly using fencing, that's one viability. And you can get creative with using your fencing as well. So fencing can be used with our 1/2-inch conduit. So we make these poly low tunnels, and you can see I overwinter. We overwintered last year, the last season, the kale, and so we make these 1/2-inch, 10-foot long conduit. I'll put a link in the upper right hand corner to that video making those 1/2-inch conduit. And you could put bird netting over it. You could be putting chicken wire over the surface of it, and that would keep the cats out, except for the most persistent ones. This tends to do a pretty good job. It keeps the raccoons, the birds, everybody out of the bed, and I have much better seed germination, and I don't have everybody disturbing the soil as well. So using like the poly low tunnel system, you can also use the insect deterrent. So it's basically like a frost inhibition. It's just called a row cover, and they make it in different thicknesses to prevent pests from getting into your plants. So that's another way. Laying chicken wire right directly on top of the bed, laying shade cloth on top of the bed. You may just get creative thinking about what materials. So air has to flow through it, sunlight has to make it through the system. And of course, this comes off once the seedlings are about 2 inches tall. 2.5, 3 inches tall is when I'll pull that out. I apologize for the winds. I didn't realize it was going to get this windy. So those are my thoughts. So, certainly using various fencing techniques. It can even be electric fencing to keep the cats out. Hi, Man Max. Yes. Using fabric, shade cloth. They actually make a type of tarp that I use on the dump trailer that's like a shade cloth. So be creative, look around and see what materials you have. But the other thing that I think is really important is having other options for the cats to go to. They really want that nice soft soil that's really easy to dig in, that they can get their paws into, make their deposits and all, and therefore keep them out of your garden bed. So that's my quick tip for today as far as keeping cats out of the bed. If you have other suggestions, please put it in the comments below so we can all share from this. If this video was helpful, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends. If you want to be notified when we post more videos, please hit that bell icon. And by all means, folks, have a fantastic day. Bye-bye now.